It was recently announced that at UFC 265 on August the 7th, the UFC heavyweight title will be on the line. However, there's a couple of caveats to that little bit of information. It will be the interim heavyweight title, and it will be Derek Lewis versus Cyril Gane. So, Francis Ngannou, the reigning defending heavyweight champion of the world, will not be in that fight. Now, this has caused a bit of controversy among people in the UFC MMA world because they are obviously under the impression that a interim belt should be used when a champion is injured and cannot defend their belt. You remember back when Frank Mir had a motorbike accident, perfect time for an interim title. Obviously, unfortunate for Frank, but for everyone else, the division can keep on rolling. And that's the thing you need to remember with this, is the division can keep on rolling, because that's all the UFC cares about. The UFC will slow down or speed up divisions to make it suit them. And that's how it works. Why would you not do that? You know, and you think around, if they've got a card on August the 7th and they don't have a title fight suitable for that card, for example, they can't get the bantamweights in there, they can't get the lightweights in there, I don't know, the middleweights can't go because they've just had a fight on the last. It has to all fit in perfectly for the UFC. You can't just put the fight on when the fighter wants. If Francis Ngannou turns around and goes, I can't do it till September. Okay, well, you can't give us a good enough reason as to why you can't do it till September. It's a month earlier. You fought 4 months ago. It's 3 months till the fight, for example, or 2 months till the fight. We need to keep the show rolling. We need that fight on that card. So if you can't commit to that, then we'll just do the interim title fight. You can take as long as you want, and then you can fight the winner. And I don't see that as a big deal. And I know people get annoyed sometimes because I always jump to the UFC's defense, but it's their show. It's their belt. If they need it defended, well, then it should be defended. They're not asking anything unreasonable of Francis Ngannou, and we don't know what Francis Ngannou has said. Yes, his manager came out and said, we agreed to fight in September, and had this whole spiel about Dana White and things like that. But you've also got to remember that Francis Ngannou was extremely vocal about fighter pay about a month ago. Really vocal. And that's weird as the sitting, defending heavyweight champion of that organisation to come out and speak so negatively about fighter pay. How is that going to improve your pay or your experiences or your fights? How is that going to improve anything by you coming out and being negative like that? It's not going to. And I understand if you have private conversations with Dana White about it, but don't bash them openly in the press, because when it comes down to negotiations, they'll just go, not a problem, interim title fight, and you can fight the winner. And that's what they've done. You know, this isn't... And I'm not trying to knock Francis Ngannou. I just think the way he went about that, I won't try and knock him because he'll come and find me. The way he went about that was wrong. I don't mind him jumping to the defence of fighters and pay, but he hasn't got a pay problem. So-and-so that fights for 12 and 12 at the very start of the pay-per-view has a pay problem. Francis Ngannou, who gets paid 400 grand to fight plus pay-per-view points, doesn't have a problem. So for him to come out and behave like that, I think is very bizarre. I don't have a problem with Derek Lewis fighting Cyril Gane for the interim heavyweight championship. Why would I? Why would anyone? Because all that's going to happen is the winner of that is going to fight Francis anyway. So what's the problem? Everyone's all up in arms that, you know, you're using interim belts too much, and maybe a little bit, but when you need a fight on a card, if this fight was headlined by Derek Lewis and Cyril Gane and there wasn't a belt on the line, what do you think the pay-per-view buyers would do? 200,000? Maybe 300,000? That's being bloody generous. You put the belt on the line, it might start hitting 500s and 600,000s. And that's the difference. And that makes more money for the UFC, which in turns make more money for the fighters. So when you talk about that and push that narrative that you can't just keep doing interim title belts, well, it feeds the machine. And the machine then feeds back down to the fighters. It might not do it as quickly as everyone likes, but that's the way it works. So people need to relax a little bit, not be so short-sighted when it comes to having an interim title fight. More eyes on the sport, more eyes on the product, more money in the UFC's pocket, which will eventually push back down to the fighters. Every year the UFC has a bumper year is another year that the fighters will get paid more. I don't see what the big deal is.